In the AFC East, I'll write. I'll go down my list. Do you have your list with you?
I do.
All right. So the AFC East, I had the Buffalo Bills going 13-4. Um, basically splitting games in their division other than against the Jets. And then they were going to play the Chiefs and the Patriots, and I had them, or I'm sorry, playing the Chiefs and Buccaneers, excuse me. And I really like the Chiefs and the Buccaneers coming into the season, and they made the playoffs, so I guess rightfully so.
Right.
The Dolphins I had at number 2 at 9-8. I nailed it.
Yeah.
Freaking nailed it. I thought I was going to whiff on it because they started at 1-7. I was like, holy crap, was I wrong on the Dolphins? Some of the wins and losses obviously kind of flip flop, but I'm not going to go into that. The New England Patriots I had at 7-10. They ended up being 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for the Patriots. I thought with a rookie quarterback, it wasn't going to go well for them. I did like their defense. I liked their running game. I liked all the assets that they added, but I just wasn't really sold on Mac Jones. To be fair, Mac Jones kind of trailed off the last couple of weeks of the season, so we'll see how he does in the playoffs. But good for the Patriots to turn around after a year. Thought it was going to take at least 3 years, and that's what I was going off of, and I was completely wrong. And then the New York Jets, I had it 3-14. They ended up being 4-13. So, was I really that wrong on them? No. Honestly, I was wrong that they were going to go 0-6 in the division. I thought they were going to split games between Patriots, Dolphins, but they ended up not winning a game in the division. It had to be all outside the division. So, the Jets complete tire fire, but yeah, that was my AFC East. Cody, what was your AFC East?
So number one, I had Buffalo Bills. I had them also at 13-4. They finished the season at 11-6, but still won the division. So, I guess that's a half a point for the both of us. The New York Jets, I had them at 3-14 as well. So, I mean, we missed it by one game, but we weren't that far off. And really, it looked like they could have done an O for at least just one game because they went through some real crazy quarterback turmoil for a while where I think the QB's name was Mike White. I think that his name had one good game. And then all of a sudden he was like the next big thing. And then haven't heard from him since. So that's pretty much the Jets in a gist. And then I had New England at 9-8. So I was off by a game and I didn't have them getting into the playoffs in any shape or form. I felt like that they would win a couple more games because Cam Newton was, I figured was in the offense a little bit more. They had a little bit better of a run game. Most of their defensive players were coming back. So that was my logic for it. And I was off by a game, like I mentioned, but, didn't expect them to get into the playoffs. Yeah. And then Miami was probably my biggest Swift in this division. I had them going 11-6 with a wild card. And it was really rough. They started off, like you mentioned, 1-6. So I was like, oh, there's no way. And then they trailed off, like 7 wins in a row to where, hey, if they hang on, they can do it.
Yeah.
And then they just tanked in the last few weeks. And, I am foreshadowing, but it is unfortunate that they let go of their head coach after this season because I thought it was a huge win. But we'll talk about that later on in the show. But
yeah,
Miami was probably my biggest Swift on my prediction on them regarding the AFC East.
And what did you have the Jets at? I'm sorry.
I had them at 3-14.
3-14.
So I had them as the same record. Yeah.
So you and I in the AFC East, we split that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go into the AFC North I'm sorry. Let's go I'm sorry. I'm getting way ahead of myself. The NFC East. Cody, why don't you start us off with the NFC East?
Okay. So the NFC East, I had the winners being the Dallas Cowboys, which they did. They finished this season at 12-5. I had them winning 11-6. So I was off by a game. Following that, I had, Philadelphia winning only 7-10. And they made the playoffs at 9-8. So that was a huge surprise. This is probably as big as a whiff as any that I will have, and I will definitely eat crow for this one because it's definitely deserved. But I had the Giants going 8-9, and honestly, that would have been a successful season in their eyes, just because it couldn't have gone any worse.
Judge
for them.
would still have his job.
Yeah, they couldn't have gone. They couldn't have gotten any worse. And then I had the Washington football team going 8-9 as well. I think they finished 6-10 or I can't remember what their record was. I think they were like 7-10 or something like that. But I wasn't off by very much. But I didn't predict Philadelphia getting in the playoffs. The only thing I really got right was Dallas's divisional win, which we kind of figured because they were the best team out of this terrible division. But pies in my face because they had two teams come out of this division. So
okay, so NFC East, I whiffed everywhere. I think you're going to have this one. The Dallas Cowboys I had at 9-8, and they did not end up being 9-8. They ended up being 12-5. I then had the Washington. Honestly, the Cowboys, I didn't think their defense was anything, and they really stepped their defense up. I mean, I got to give it to Dan Quinn. I thought was going to do better for them, but I didn't know how much because I was kind of looking at that Falcons defense over there when he was the head coach for Atlanta, and it really wasn't anything special. It was actually probably one of the worst ones. So I was like, how good is he really?
Right.
And he's really proven it. So good for him. And, Micah Parsons, probably defensive rookie of the year, probably unanimously. I don't see anyone else taking that over. So he had a wonderful year. Then I had the Washington football team at 7-10. I mean, I nailed that one. So, I count that as a win, but I actually like the football team. I wasn't sure if I wanted them 7-10. I just thought that they kind of ran into a bad schedule. And so I think I kind of just got lucky on that one, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I also had them, like I mentioned, I had them going 8-9, but a lot of it was because Fitzpatrick was healthy. They were going to have Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
They had a lot more pieces to the puzzle, and Chase Young got injured early in the season. So I had figured that they were going to be relatively competitive, and they somewhat were, even though they had Heineke and, a bunch of other players, but
I had then the Philadelphia Eagles. I had them at 7-10. They went 9-8 and made it into the playoffs. I would have swore to you that they would not have made it into the playoffs, but they did. And you know what? Good for them. I'm not huge on Jalen Hurts. I'm still not, but I do think that he brings an aspect to the Eagles that they need right now. And so I do think that that's really good. And then I have the New York Giants, which I'm going to call a whiff as well. The New York Giants, I had them at 6-11. I thought they were going to be, a tough team, but they faced teams like, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Chargers. And so I thought those, I thought the Broncos were going to be a little bit better. So I thought those teams were going to be really, just an unfortunate opponent for the Giants because Daniel Jones is very limited. And so I like the Giants defense. I did. I thought Saquon Barkley was going to be a really good player. And we'll probably talk about this another day, but Saquon Barkley, probably one of the biggest fantasy flops of the year. It really, I mean, Kenny Golladay got a huge contract. He caught 0 touchdowns all year. And that's ridiculous.
And Daniel Jones being injured
the last few weeks. Yeah. He didn't play the last few weeks, Daniel Jones, but I really don't think that was going to matter because he didn't throw it to Golladay as it was. So, that's a pretty big whiff for me. I had 3 whiffs. I was wrong on the Cowboys. I mean, I had them at number 1, but I had them at 9-8, so I'm going to count that as a loss. I had them in the playoffs. Let's see. I mean, maybe I get a point for having them at number 4? I do. I should get him. I think I should get a point for 4. What do you think?
You should go right ahead. Have that point.
What did you have the Cowboys at?
11-6, and they finished 12-5.
What did you have? What seed did you have them though? Oh, I have it right here.
I think I had them.
I forgot you don't have it. Let's see. Oops, that's AFC. Yeah, you had them at 4. Okay, so you're gonna get that one.